This is a snapshot of when we first started buying back in November of 2005. And so one of the things that we kept here was a little spreadsheet that told us what our payments were for each mortgage, when they were up for renewal, and what the interest rate we were paying at the time was. So just have a look at this, guys, and hopefully you can see that. Let me know if you can't. But I was looking through this earlier, and some of the ones that stood out for me is this property right here that we were. This is when we were buying. Okay, so we started buying. When was it? Like June
of 2005.
Of 2005. This is November, so this is, I don't know, 5 months later, that sort of thing. These are the properties that we acquired at the beginning. And it was really cool looking back at this to see what kind of interest rates we were paying back then and what kind of interest rates we were buying properties at, guys. This isn't where we bought low and then they went up and we survived. We were buying them.
This was our normal.
Notice this one here, guys. I don't know if you can see it, but 7.5% interest. We got 5.7, 5.65. I would say on average, we're somewhere in the 5% range here on these properties. We got a 6% down here. We had one really low. We considered this really low. It looks like super low at 3.95, one at 3.85 here. So these
were amazing
our
deals.
normal type of interest rates back then.
Yeah. So why are we talking about this? The reason we're bringing this up is that, when we now hear interest rates of like 7.5% or 6.5 or 6 or whatever it might be, like those are rates that are like, holy smokes, things are going crazy to newer investors because you haven't yet seen a normal market, a normal climate in real estate interest rates. So what we're here to say is we're just getting back to normal. We are still in a free money stage, like 5%, 6%, all of that's still cheap.
I remember,
money.
In fact, the first mortgage we ever signed off on sitting in a bank. You and I were sitting there at TD, and it was over by Westmount. You remember that?
Yeah, and that was on our personal residence.
It was like we went there after work to sign off on this mortgage, and we were thrilled with the interest rate we got. And I'll never forget this. The first interest rate we got was 6.7%.
Oh.
And it was a 5-year fixed at 6.7%. And that was like considered a really low interest rate. And we were happy with that. It's all about perspective, guys. And what happens, and the reason that we're going over this tonight is because for a lot of you and a lot of what we're hearing, your perspective is based on interest rates over the last 5 to 10 years, 5 to 7 years, where it's gotten extremely, extremely low.
Yeah.
And the perspective actually needs to widen a little bit. It needs to open up a little bit and look at history. What have interest rates been at? What have they, what have investors been successful investing at certain percentages? And, if it goes up to 4, 5, 6, even 7%, can we still make money as investors? Absolutely, if we're buying the right property.
So we, talk about this a lot. And so you hear these rants. I remember our mentor, Don Campbell, when we got into this, he talked about, we're talking about, 7 and 8% interest rates and that sort of thing at the time. Especially, some interest rates were a lot higher even because we were like doing B lenders and that sort of thing. So he's talking about like, that's still free money. I used to pay 18% and I still made money.
I remember that too.
Yeah. So, that's what we just want to give you tonight is first and foremost, a new perspective in saying, yeah, okay, it's freaky because it's not your normal, but it actually is the market normal. And it actually is okay. And investors have been making money through all of the markets going up or going down. There's always things that we can do. And it's okay. So we have a choice. We can either panic over these interest rates or we can pivot and prosper, or sometimes just prosper. Maybe we don't even have to pivot. But what we do have to do is take a look at what we're doing. And we do have to stop and say, what served me a year or two ago may or may not be serving me now. And this is what I have to look at. Because
pivot, right?
And pivot if you need to. Waiting and holding on for dear life and white knuckling it is not going to do anyone any favors at all. It's just going to be an emotional roller coaster that's going to kill your game, kill your real estate game.